what I wanted to share with you is the idea that bilingualism doesn't just happen. Bilingualism is the result of choices, tiny, little choices that parents make in everyday life. And these choices can have dramatic impact on the outcome. I want to share with you today a couple of typical stories of bilingual families and see what works and what doesn't and why. Okay, so let's start with the story of Peter. Peter is a born and raised American man. He is married to an Italian woman. They live in Italy. They have two kids, aged 12 and 14. Peter's regret is that his kids don't speak English. In fact, they hardly understand English. Not really much more than the average Italian child, which is not much, as you know. But you know, Peter set off really determined to raise his kids bilingual. He really, really tried, but something went wrong on the way. Now compare Peter's story to Silvia's. Silvia is Italian. She lives in Italy. She has an Italian husband, and she has a 3-year-old daughter, Maria, who speaks a lovely English, as well as Italian, and does so out of her own initiative. Now, how is that possible? How is it possible that Peter, the native speaker parent, failed at raising his kids bilingual, and Silvia, the non-native speaker parent, succeeded against all odds? These are the questions I would like to answer today with you in a way that hopefully is going to be meaningful for all of you. Because the good news is this: it doesn't matter which language you're interested in or is close to your heart. It doesn't matter whether you are a native speaker of that language or not, provided you can speak the language, of course. And it doesn't matter whether you are a mom or a dad. You know, you can raise your child bilingual if you so wish. Okay. And you know, on this, I suppose, you know, you're very interested in this, but you might have doubts. You know, most people have doubts about it. You know, doubts like, okay, will the second language mess up my kid? Are there side effects? Or, you know, how do I do it? How do I teach a language to my child? I'm not a teacher, really. Or, this is my favorite, is when is the right time to introduce a second language? I get this question all the time, and it drives me crazy. Because what does it mean when is the time? Now is the time. Now. Doesn't matter how old is your child, 2 weeks, 7 years. Now is the time. What do you want to wait for? You know, you want to wait for your child to grow old enough to appreciate the effort of learning a language? So forget about when. Forget about that question. Forget about the what if it all goes wrong question. It will not go wrong. It won't. Research on this is consistent. Bilingualism, learning 2 or more languages from very, very early on, from birth, does not make children dummy. Apprehensive parents sometimes do. So, forget about when, forget about, you know, is it bad or not. Let's start focusing on how. How do you teach your child the language? Or even better, sorry, how do you raise your child bilingual? Okay. I want to share with you 3 key success factors that really, really help. They are 1, establish a routine. Success factor 2, don't give up. Success factor 3, nurture your own child's desire to learn a language. Let's see what that means. Okay, establish a routine. We all know children love routine and predictability. We know that, yeah? This is great, it's fantastic. It helps, but it does not, it's not the main reason for adopting a routine. That's not the point. When it comes to second language, you need a routine much, much more than your child does. A routine means knowing which language is spoken when. A routine can take any kind of shapes and forms, and they all work as long as there is consistency. For example, you could say, okay, my routine is I'm going to speak always Arabic to my child. Fantastic. Okay. What does always mean? Are you going to speak Arabic to your child at the playground with other children? Are you going to speak Arabic to your child when other family members are around? Are you going to speak Arabic to your child when she's throwing a tantrum? You know, having a routine means having a strategy to deal with every kind of possible daily life situations and stick to it. Incidentally, this is where Peter lost it. Peter always spoke English to his kids, except when there were other kids around, except when his children were answering back in Italian to him, except when he was helping them with homeworks. You know, you get the drift. Was it always, often, seldom, or as it happened, almost never? Yeah? Compare that to Sylvia. Sylvia never thought she could only speak English to her child. She didn't. But she identified moments and situations to associate to English. She took great care in making these moments pleasant for herself and for the child. Oops, sorry. She displayed a great amount of creativity in seeking materials, support, experiences that could nurture the experience of language, of English, you know? Incidentally, one of these experiences coming to my English playgroups for children and parents, which I set up. But, you know, this is one of the tools she used. But, you know, she really made it not something that would keep the whole day engaged in the English project, but something that was consistent. And it just happened naturally. Point number 2, don't give up. The point is to understand that learning a language is a very, very long process. It takes years. It takes years to master one's mother tongue. Imagine how many years it takes to master a second language. So if you focus on now, if you focus on, is the child learning? Am I getting results? How many words does the child know? If you do this, you get frustrated, and eventually you give up. Does that mean you should keep speaking, say, Spanish to a child who keeps answering back to you in, say, German? Yes, that's what it means. You just keep doing it. You just keep giving. For how long? Nobody knows. Why should you do it? Because one day your child will start speaking Spanish out of the blue. He will do so, or she will do so, when she will feel the need to speak Spanish to be understood by somebody. Probably somebody else. And, you know, be prepared. I've heard stories of this happening when the child is 18 years old. You know, that's a long, long way to go. So just be patient and go for it. Now, success factor number 3. Nurture your own child's desire to learn the language. The risk here is that if you focus so much on teaching a language, you become your child's teacher. But you are a parent, you are not a teacher, okay, to your child. But if, however, you focus on the importance of that language in your life, the way you live the language, if you don't tell the child how important it is that he should learn the language, but you share your stories, your passion, your memories associated to that language. If you don't try to correct and instruct your child on the language, but you just sit on the floor with your child and read and sing and play, and you do those simple, you know, things that are part of the child's life, then something powerful happens. Your child will learn that the language is good. He will learn to cherish the language. The language will become part of your shared memories. And that, trust me, will go a long way. Because one day, when the child will be older, he or she will find in himself the motivation and the tools to become the master of his own language learning acquisition. So, language learning process. So, the key point here is everybody in this room can raise a bilingual child, if you so wish. You can do so, hopefully, with the support and collaboration of your family and partners. And all you need to do is to relax and remember that there are 3 kinds of bilingual parents. There are the native speaker parents, the non-native speaker parents, and the inconsistent parents. Make sure you are one of the first 2 kinds. That's it.
All right.